Hello. Good fun. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of the Seacoast. All of you at home watching us, we welcome and we're waiting for you to come join us here in person in beautiful downtown Dover. My name is Lynn. I'll be the facilitator today, and I am the Unity chaplain. Welcome everyone here as well. Thank you for showing up on this beautiful summer morning. And that was Kevin Reed, member, friend, and extremely talented musician and singer. Thank you, Kevin. Lovely. I would like to, for people here, even people at home, please silence your phones or do not disturb something so that we don't have any interference, especially when our Reverend Tom is speaking. We want to pay attention. We have a publication through Unity, which has been in operation. Unity has been in operation for 135 plus years. It is worldwide, all over the world, wherever you are. You can Google and you'll find a Unity near you. And our daily publication, Daily Word, is something that I personally found extremely useful for setting an intention and positive thought for the day. And I find that during these times it's most useful. A lot of negativity trying to get into your mind. But if you hold this intention and thought, you really will travel through the day much better. And our daily word is free. Living from my Christ nature sets me free. As a spiritual being, I'm always free. I remember this at the moments I feel at the mercy of an unpredictable world. While I may not be able to control what's happening around me, I can take comfort in knowing I don't need to. I'm free to choose my response. But even more, I'm free to meet life from my divinity, the breath of my spiritual power. In prayer, I claim divine ideas. I use my gift of imagination to envision the life I wish to live, and the gift of will to make choices to bring it about. I speak affirmations to raise my consciousness and help create conditions for my highest and best outcomes to manifest. I find precious freedom realizing that life doesn't happen to me. Life happens through me. And our scripture for today is John chapter 8, verse 36. So if the Son makes you free, you will be free indeed. So again, the daily word is free, and our affirmation to keep in mind is living from my Christ nature sets me free. We have a mission statement here that we take quite seriously. We're very hard to fulfill this mission, and we would love to have you join us to help fulfill it. Our mission statement is, and I believe it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen for those of you at home, we are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to living oneness with God within us all. And again, that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We are delighted to finally be here back in person and have the joy of hugging, namasteing, and we have everything here. If you are still hesitant to be in public, which is reasonable, we have masks, we have hand sanitizer, and we have seating so that you can sit a couple of seats apart if that makes you more comfortable. It's a beautiful facility. We have space where we have fellowship afterwards, yummy food, we're known for that. We're back. And it's just a wonderful thing to be back in person and get hugs and catch up with each other. There's nothing like it. We wish you to join us. You'll find our address on our website. It's unityoftheseacoast.org, and there's a lot to go through there. If you're interested, if you'd like to learn more about Unity itself, more about Unity of the Seacoast, there are some writings on there from well-known Unity preachers and local Unity Seacoast people. And there's also a donate button, like on most websites that you go to. You scroll down and it's right there to walk you through step by step. And it says donate, but we believe more in tithing. And our belief in tithing is around the laws of prosperity. So giving is receiving, and we believe that when you tithe to what inspires you, whether it's us or someone else, that will come back to you. The address, I believe, is on our Facebook page and the website, but I will give it to you now. If you feel more comfortable tithing by check, then you can do that, and our mailing address, or if you want to send us a letter or a prayer, that's acceptable too. Our new address is Unity of Seacoast, the McConnell Center, Suite 246, 61 Locust Street, Dover, New Hampshire, New Hampshire, 03820. Tomorrow night, Charlie Richard, my other half, will be doing the first Monday meditation in July, and he's chosen, talking about prosperity, first blessing. So we hope you'll join us for that tomorrow evening on our Facebook page at 7 p.m. And again, every first Monday of the month, there will be a meditation with Charlie. Right now, it's still virtual, but we're looking at possibly bringing it here where we could be hybrid. We could do it virtually, but also welcome you here to come and meditate with us. We are broadcasting live on our own YouTube channel. Those who are familiar with YouTube, just go to YouTube, search Unity of Seacoast, and scroll along until you find the current day. Or please watch some of the other services. And I highly recommend, even though it's July and hot as blazes, watch our Christmas Eve service. It was just so, I didn't start those again. It was beautiful, and it will lift your spirits even when it's hot. And I think as far as announcements go, it's just we're growing and thriving and just so happy to be here, and we're just waiting for you with open arms. So on a Sunday morning, when you have the time or you make the time and it's your intention, we would just love to see you in person. We also have a greeting, Namaste. If you've ever been to any Unity church, you would be familiar with it. And Namaste is used rather loosely now in a lot of TV shows and movies and so forth, but we take it as a prayer, a promise, and something very holy. Namaste in Unity, from the Sanskrit word, means the Christ in me, which is the light in me, the holiness in me, greets that in you, recognizes it, and appreciates it. And the way we do that is we put our hands in the prayer position. We look into the eyes of the other person, and I've done it virtually. You can look to me or the rest of the audience, and you simply look deeply in their eyes and with full intention, give them namaste. No. And now we have the joy of hearing another selection from Kevin Lee. Thank you, Kevin. I'm always moved by his music, and I have to say, the Daily Word's free, and flying on the wings of those beautiful vibrations, I felt it. Thanks, that was beautiful. So one thing I want to say before introducing our speaker is I want to send prayers out to our friend Linda Kay in California, who's experiencing some challenges in getting back to New Hampshire. And we're hoping and praying she'll be here Tuesday. So Linda, we're waiting for you. Come on home. And now I'm excited to hear what Reverend Tom has in order for us about independence, freedom, and the United States. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm so thankful for this is our second Sunday. I look around, I get to see faces again. What this means for me is after 2 years of watching this on a monitor, but after almost a year of talking to a computer and not seeing facial expressions, it's great. I mean, I virtually would watch people who are eating their breakfast while the sermon's going on in the little window and people leaving. We did a meditation where we could hear someone flushing in the background. So we had to switch off Zoom to StreamYard. So all this, folks, for me, is just wonderful. Every week I prepare a talk. I don't always get to use them. This week is like that. It seems the events of the day need to take on a life of their own, and I feel compelled to address them. But before I do that, I want to settle in to a meditation. And even before that, I want to acknowledge Kevin. Kevin has been part of our community playing for several years, and I'm always thankful. I mean, talk about spirit of the wind coming through an instrument. And each time we hear these little flutters and things, I'm in awe, I get chills. And again, I get to have Lynn here facilitating with me. And this is really old home day. This is what it's like. Folks, if you're not here when these things happen, you miss a lot. And I hope you're getting a great service at home. We're always trying to improve that. But being together is a fellowship and a smile from the people. That's the deal. So I'm going to just sit back and let Kevin open up with a little meditation music, and we'll bring you into meditation. And ask each one of you to get comfortable. Take in a breath and release that breath. And develop your own comfortable breathing pattern. My day began this morning with a smell of coffee. I got to drink the coffee, and I rode my motorcycle in a cool, comfortable morning. I'm grateful for that. We know the events in our world today can harden us. We can be jaded. We take this moment just to align our mind with gratitude. When Casey pulled up to the church today, she was texting her friend Brenda, who's come to the church. For those of you who don't know Brenda, they've been friends for all since I've known them and long before I found them. I'm grateful for that. Brenda saved Casey's life. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for each one of you. Think in your moments and in your life the things that you are grateful for. Doesn't have to be big. It can be coffee. It can be a smile. Just a new chance to take the next step to open your eyes. I'm grateful for the love that I receive from each one, everyone I come in contact with. I'm grateful for the opportunity to reflect that love and return it to the world and to the universe. And then deep within me is my Christ-like connection, my Christ-like nature. And that is how I know I will not harden. We were all created in love and wisdom and perfection. That is the image of God. And take this moment to focus on that which I am grateful for. Those are the things that will not allow me to harden. I invite you to bring yourself back to me. For your shoulders and your neck. You can go back to that quiet place anytime. It's always available. As I said, each week I have a few talks that I've written that I hope to get to. Some are in progress, some I complete. But the events of the times in a day just sometimes seem to take precedence, and the story moves faster than I can prepare. Tomorrow we celebrate Independence Day, the day our nation declared itself free from British control. Now, mind you, when that document was written, the war had not ended. We were technically not free until after the British surrendered after the Battle of Yorktown. That happened on October 19, 1781. The last signature was affixed by a man named Thomas McKean in January of 1777. So in essence, that document was a political protest. That document was a revolt, and perhaps the most significant revolt and protest in human history. And what this document said was very simple. We welcome all people and all beliefs, but not all behaviors. And because of the behaviors that have been inflicted upon us, we've taken the right to live up to our own values. It was written to rally people. It was written to denounce King George. And it was written to win foreign allies, to show that we have value. France responded to that. And it begins with these words, in case you can throw them up there for me. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's the principle. Those words are what our nation was founded upon. Those could easily be the principle that unity was founded upon. In that statement, there is so much, and I'd kind of like, if people don't mind, to read these with me. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. See, within that statement, it doesn't mention Christian God, Muslim God, Hindu God, any God. It mentions their Creator. Within those words are the separation of church and state. Within those words are acceptance of everybody's belief in their Creator. And we can easily follow that with Unit's fifth principle. It's not enough to know, we must do the work. And that's kind of where I'm headed on this. What is our responsibility to that document? To ourselves as a member of a nation, and to ourselves as a member of the church. Our responsibility is to act independently of the governing body if it does not live up to what those words stand for. We have to act to our highest values. We represent each other as we would represent ourselves and the world. We accept all those political views opposing in ours, all ideologies, but we do not have to accept all behaviors. When the law goes against what we see as unacceptable, we speak up, we take back the power. In the Declaration of Independence, there's a list of grievances that are deemed unacceptable. So they're geared toward King George. They fit for today. Probably the most important one was the last one. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us. That first was also followed by talk of Native Americans, which doesn't fit in freedom then, now, and never should. But that one, He has excited domestic insurrections among us. Have we not seen that recently? The next one it mentions, he has called together legislative bodies at unusual places that are unusually uncomfortable and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with these measures. Have we not passed voting laws that make it difficult for people to vote? We've made it illegal to give them water while they're waiting in line. We've reduced the number of voting places so the lines stretch out. If you don't have access to your proper documents, you cannot vote. Keep them at a distance. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the laws and naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration, hither raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. Have we not passed immigration policies that deny these people these rights to come to our country? He has refused to accept or agree to laws which most wholesomely and necessarily are good for the public good, means refusing the rights and the choices of the majority in favor of personal, politically motivated ideas. He's gone along with anti-abortion now. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasion of the rights on people. In other words, stripping the powers of those who do not agree with a certain point of view. Liz Cheney was censored for not voting along party lines. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices. Has the Supreme Court not become an activist extension of the party? And this is not the first time that the Supreme Court has been stacked to do illegal bidding for a party. The Dred Scott case, March 6, 1857, the Supreme Court voted 7-2 that enslaved people and their descendants, whether free or not, could not be American citizens and thus had no right to sue in federal court. The court also ruled that the Missouri Compromise of 1820 was unconstitutional and banned Congress from outlawing enslavement in the new territories. And they added at the end of that black people had no rights that the white men were bound to respect. So how do we fight that back against that? Well, the 13th and 14th Amendment. The 13th Amendment, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to the jurisdiction. Servitude was illegal. And the 14th Amendment, all persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of a citizen of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, and property without due process of the law, or to deny any person within this jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. And then they added this, which I thought was unique, and this is when no person shall be a senator or representative of Congress or elector, such as president or vice president, or hold any civil office, military or civil, under the United States or under any other state, who has previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature or an executive judicial officer of any state to support, taking oath to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection, rebellion against the same, or given aid to the comfort of the enemies thereof. But Congress may vote 2/3 of each house to remove this disability. This is our document. This is what we've been founded upon. In May 1935, FDR's New Deal was struck down by an aged Republican court simply because they had power over him. The New Deal was Roosevelt's plan, security, aid, to create jobs in a country that was struggling in one of its worst times ever. To combat that, he decided he would expand the number of court justices from 10 to 15. And he talked about it every time he could. And since it would happen under his vice presidency, there was fear that he would pick the Supreme Court justices. So they re-looked at the New Deal and voted in favor of it. I don't know your political thing, but what was right about these cases? And what do they have to do with the Declaration of Independence and Unity? Is that people acted from a higher calling, something higher than the government or the rule of law. They used their independent nature for the highest good of all. Standing up and declaring all people are equal, even when your own government doesn't stand up for its independence. That is independence. You know, I'm not black, but if I don't stand up for the rights of those who are black, who I befriend and believe in and love, then what does that say about me and the way I honor my friends? What does it say about my beliefs? I have many friends who are gay and married, and if I don't stand up for them and with them, what does that say about my friendship? I'm a father, a beautiful daughter. I'm a husband. If I don't stand up for the rights of those within my circle, and what does that say about me? I'm part of a democratic society. And if I do not stand up for due process for the people, for the rights of the majority, then what does that say about me? And at the same time, I have to stand up for the rights of those who rely on my voice. My voice to lift the underrepresented, those who feel they have less or no voice. I have to rely on my principles of fairness and equality to be that voice. My voice, my words, those 5 principles, that's my weapon to an evolving Declaration of Independence. As our friend Russell Highland wrote, and he spoke, and I quote, with the announcement of the decision by the United States Supreme Court to allow states to reverse course on reproductive rights, with consequences being carried by women alone, the court unmistakably conveyed a message that any rights that have been affirmed by the Supreme Court may now be taken away and are no longer guaranteed. They can be reversed. That's the anxiety in the LGBT community, let alone American women. In recent years, as the quote continues, the Supreme Court has affirmed 3 essential citizenship rights that directly impact the LGBT community. The decriminalization of homosexuality in 2003, the right to marry in 2015, and the right to employment, which was enacted just 2 years ago. And that brings us today to a reflection on 1992 Planned Parenthood against versus Casey, not my Casey. But that ruling basically states if the right of privacy means anything, it's the right of the individual, married or single, to be free from unwarranted governmental intrusion into matters so fundamentally affecting a person's decision to whether they bear or begat children. This is the right that was given. This is the right that's being taken away. Now, your position on each of the things that I said is your position. I cannot dictate your thoughts, and you must live up to that as your position. You must do it to the equality, to the freedom and the spirit that we stand for. We must live up to the democratic freedom, to democracy with checks and balances. Judge Clarence Thomas use that rationale to overturn Roe versus Wade as a rationale to overturn other rights, the right to same-sex marriage, the right to use contraception. You can use his argument to overturn the 13th and 14th Amendment to deprive African Americans of their rights. This is the part that I don't think he gets. His argument can actually take away his own rights. Now, what does Unity say about this? I got this from the website. We at Unity Worldwide Ministries feel deeply disturbed and heartbroken by the decision of the United States Supreme Court to overturn Roe versus Wade, denying the constitutional protection of a woman's reproductive rights, which has been in place for the past 50 years. The implications of this decision are far-reaching, since there is a real possibility that other human rights are in danger of being revoked. Unity Worldwide Ministries believes that all human life is sacred and worthy of respect. Because of our deeply held spiritual beliefs regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, we stand for the rights of women to make their own decisions concerning their bodies and their medical treatment. We believe that reproductive rights are human rights, which do not require government intervention, and we will advocate for those rights based on foundational principles of our faith. So that gets to me. What do I think? What do I look for? Where do I look? I start by looking for the Bible. And always with this issue, I come to do not kill. We've all heard this, and what does it mean? Does it mean war? Does it mean capital punishment? Does God kill? Well, if you take the Bible literally, God had two of Aaron's sons killed for unpleasant intent. So God does kill. If you take the Bible literally and you think of the flood, was there not one person with child and the world was flooded? So maybe that point, okay, that's too literal. Well, God sent the Israelites into Jerusalem to kill every last woman, man, woman, and child within those cities and surrounding cities. Was there not at least one person pregnant there? Sodom and Gomorrah, not one pregnant woman. And I'm not using these as a reason to promote that God killed. I don't believe in any of that. I just do it to point out false logic. And we use the biblical sense to defend that. So then I go, well, what about Jesus? Jesus, he spoke against hypocrisy. He, without sin, cast the first stone. We demonize women who are only half the equation in pregnancy. We set restrictions on the pill, the morning after pill, but we'll allow promotion for male enhancement drugs. But Jesus, same as our forefathers, did not have to think about abortion. Abortion was 1900 years later, before his time. But he spoke of loving each other and accepting each other and not judging each other. He was inclusive of all women and stood for everyone's rights. That's what John 8:7 is about. The scribes and Pharisees are about to stone a woman who they believed adulterous. There's no mention of the other half of the equation, that man in there. And that's where that line, he who was without sin cast the first stone. He stood for the rights of all and for the many, and many of his followers were women. Mary Magdalene is probably the most loyal, faithful follower, and still is not considered a disciple. In fact, she was alluded to by Pope Gregory as a prostitute in the year 600. A bishop wrote that she was a prostitute, and that has stuck since. You know, that's far from the Jesus loving all and forgiving all that I read in the Bible. So what else in the Bible helps me? You guys have heard this from me many times. Proverbs 16:5. Everyone who is arrogant in the heart is an abomination to the Lord. Be assured he will not go unpunished. Quite simply, that means to set oneself above another is an abomination. If you use the Bible to set yourself above another and from another, or allow it to be used to lower you down by someone else, the Bible is being used wrong. It is inclusive. It is a way of life. And that includes when you take things like Leviticus 20:13 and use it as a tool of hatred against homosexuality. It's not about that. We rely on those words. We rely on each other to be inclusive, to have a connection that we can take the steps forward. We don't have to agree, but we don't get to set ourselves above another. So there's a whole other talk in Leviticus. But we are all images of God, made in perfection and love and wisdom. People make choices in their life. Some may choose one path, some may choose another. Some may choose a path that just seems dark. But we are all born under the equal light, and we have to see that in each other. We can be that reflection and help people see their life, but we do it by carrying each other, by being that community that we talk about, in the sacred community. This is what it is. It's the voices of the many, and it's the voices of the few. It's your position and my position, but we come together because we have certain commonalities. We are all unmistakably a child of God. That's the one thing that does not change within us. I don't want you guys to think like me. I want to inspire each of you to think independently for yourself, to think independently for the welfare of others and those that you love. Because that's the essence of that document. That's the essence of the greatest document. That document other nations have been founded upon. That document is why we became the beacon of freedom that the world turns to. We've come so far since the early days. Other nations have fought on our behalf for that document. And they fight on that behalf, on their beliefs, using the freedom model that we created. So many have fought and have given of themselves for the right to be independent thinkers. The sacrifice has been led, sacrifice of reputation, their job, being shunned as whistleblowers. Fought, died, have been injured in war. People have fought in the press, in books, on TV and radio. People who have fought have been part of society that are deemed outsiders for their race, creed, religion, orientation, color of their skin, for anything. People have fought have been the insiders, like those defending the Capitol. Just trying, or a lady, just trying to get welfare for her kids, battling the system. Each time someone speaks, it can be a protest to the old way. I have friends who are ministers. One lady, she's a lesbian minister, and she's married to another lesbian minister, and they go to the church in this Arizona. Each time they speak, they are a protest to the old ways, but they are raising new thought. You know, we honor all that by becoming independent of the old ways and standing for new ways that include the true rights of each other based in love, values. And we do this by doing, by acting. You know, when the problem seems so big, just step back and think, how big is my God? There's nothing that's that big. And understand that progress is not a straight line. We have ebbs and flows, but we recognize things as we go through life. And we remember that we have seen changes that are unbelievable. And as life progresses, we get to see new changes and new challenges and new dreams. We get to take the unbelievable and make it believable. This is the point I'd like to, at this point, take a moment to pray for those that we love. We care about those known and unknown. As I say each week, if you're praying about someone and you know them, feel free to reach out, call them, send them a message. Nothing makes a prayer land like reaching out and letting that person know that they are loved. If you're thinking of someone, please hold them in your heart. We have a prayer box. It'll come up. That when we use that, we enter names into that. If you're at home and you have the comment button, just write their name or initial. That's not just a heart emoji. So, yeah. This is our prayer box. We keep it out front during the week. And at any time, if you feel that there's someone that you're praying for, just write their name down. It doesn't have to be the whole name. Or you can just write, I'm thinking of someone. And we pray out for 30 days. But I also call it unity. Truth, silent unity. And I read these names and I pray with them. So for those that we know, and those that we don't, loved ones, connections, those fighting a brave battle, some battles that we may not know, some are emotional, some are physical. We see you in wholeness, health, happiness, love, and wisdom. And we affirm this within you. And we affirm this within each other. So, amen. And then there's another prayer we do at the time of prayers and offerings. Yes, Charlie can come with me. For those at home, this is what we do each week. We give and share to that which the world needs. It does not always stay here. We do have our things that we do, but we give out to the community. We grow and we expand. So I'd like it if people can place their hand over their heart and repeat with me. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I have, and all that I receive. I forget this every week. With love, with the Christ within us, with all that we have, all that we know, we bless it and know our faith grows everything that we do. Lord, Charles. And I'd like to end my part by the prayer of protection. And if people can follow along, and I'm so happy because I get to say us. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God washes over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all we are richly blessed. I'm going to have to write that above there, so I don't have to keep saying. So I'd like to thank each one, and if we can finish this, I'm not sure how to do it, but on the keyboard, so let's every piece on our song.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for your